It is Y105, number one for all the hits. I'm Steve Pulaski, and our guest today has tackled some huge projects in his day, but this is his biggest thus far. It's the Dynasty New England Patriots. It offers an inside look at the franchise's remarkable 20-year journey, the 6 Super Bowl victories, and the internal conflicts. It features Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Patriots owner Robert Kraft, and other indispensable people of the Patriots dynasty. The 10-episode miniseries is now streaming on Apple TV+, and the man behind it, director and executive producer, Matthew Hamachek, joins us now. How are you, Matthew?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for joining me, man. First, it was the 2-episode miniseries on Tiger Woods that you did. Now this 10-episode series on the Patriots. How does a documentarian approach such massive figures, or in this case, a massive dynasty, and tell that story cohesively, Matthew?
Well, I think the thing that I had going for me in a lot of ways with the Patriots documentary series was that I didn't grow up a Patriots fan. And so I didn't really know all that much about the Patriots other than kind of, the headlines that we would all see throughout the years. And so I was able to sit across the room from the 70 players, coaches, front office execs, league officials, and rivals that we interviewed. And it really sort of afforded me the ability to listen to them and say, I want you guys to tell me your story. I'm not coming in with some preconceived notion about some game that I watched when I was 15 years old that had some meaning to me. I want you guys to tell the story because you guys were the ones that were in the rooms when the decisions were being made that led to these incredible successes. But also you guys were in the rooms when, this entire dynasty that lasted for 20 years eventually came apart at the seams.
How many former Patriots players and executives did you get to talk to for this project, Matthew?
70 plus. And in addition to that, we had access to about 35,000 hours of largely never before seen footage. And so what we're talking about there is, it's one thing to sit across from a player and say, what was it like to, after the Spygate story broke, for example, but it's another thing to be able to watch Bill Belichick address the team and say, this is how we're going to go about this. Don't pay attention to this. We have work to do. Keep your heads down. Don't pay attention to what everybody's saying out there. And to talk to his players live about, what's going on about the Spygate scandal.
Set the mood for me too, Matthew. Describe how it felt interviewing Bill Belichick and how you navigated such topics like Spygate, Aaron Hernandez, Tom Brady going to Tampa, the reports of discontent between the two. I know you said you didn't grow up a Pats fan, which is, really beneficial for you, obviously. But how you had to be intimidated in some capacity bringing that up with Belichick himself.
Well, obviously, I have a great deal of respect for Bill. And I think that respect, I started to watch all of this footage, and we interviewed Bill sort of midway midway through the process, basically, I would say. So I had seen a lot of footage, and I'd heard people talk about him quite a bit. And one of the things that I sort of found that I really liked about Bill was he never gave up and he never sort of took his foot off the gas. And an example of that is in the Spygate season in 2007. He's playing against the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins, and they're up 45-0 in the fourth quarter, and it's fourth down, and they're on, let's say, the 20 or something like that. I'm fudging a little bit of the numbers here. Instead of kicking, and doing what everybody else was, or taking a knee or whatever it would be, he says, throw another touchdown, and they go up 52-0. And in the press conference afterwards, the person says to him, why did you feel a need to do that? And his response is, what do you want me to do, kick a field goal? So that's the Bill Belichick that I got to know over the course of making this thing. And so when I finally got a chance to talk to him, I said, if you respect Bill Belichick, you treat him the same way that he treats other people. And that's what makes him great. And so I had no problem saying, Bill, we're going to sit down and you're going to answer the tough questions just like everybody else did. You're going to answer about, Spygate, Deflategate, Aaron Hernandez. Why did you bench Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl? And you watch me in a lot of cases actually ask him those questions. And, it was important to me that everybody have to answer these questions and not just some people, because if you only ask these questions to some people, then you're not telling the unvarnished, New England Patriots story.
He is director and executive producer of the Dynasty New England Patriots. He is Matthew Hamachek. One more question for you, Matthew. What, in your estimation, will be the most emotional part of the Dynasty for viewers?
Well, it depends on who you ask. If you're a diehard Patriots fan, I'm sure there are going to be moments when, like they go up against the Falcons and they're down 28-3 in the third quarter, and Tom Brady launches arguably one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. So to those people, I think that might be the answer. I think if you're not a fan, and maybe even not a fan of football, I think at the core of this story, and the thing that we found listening to all of these people, is that beyond the X's and O's, there is a deeply human story, and I sort of like to refer to it as like sort of Shakespeare, but with footballs. And I think that the heart and the emotion of this story lies in that. And so even if you don't like football, there is a great story here for you.
He is Matthew Hamachek. I'm going to give you the final word to promote the Dynasty New England Patriots, which is now streaming on Apple TV+. Matthew, the floor is yours.
Well, the next episode that's coming up is episode 5, and this is the beginning of a fork in the road for the entire story, this human element that we talked about. Tom Brady, in the first game of the season, goes out with a crushing knee injury that sidelines him for the entire year. The greatest quarterback of all time has to face his football mortality for the first time, and what he realizes is that back on the ranch, the show goes on without you. You have a coach in Bill Belichick who will take whatever he is given and make something great with it. And the team goes 11-5 without him. And what Tom Brady says at the end of that season, as he's getting ready to come back, is, how do I not find myself on the operating room table again? How do I not break? And this begins this journey from Tom's perspective of, I'm going to play till 45. And he is determined to do this. On the other side, you have a guy, Bill Belichick, who has data that says at a certain point, every quarterback falls off of a cliff. And I have to start preparing for the next guy to come in. And basically, that starts a tension between the two of them that eventually, for a variety of reasons, which we detail throughout the last 5 episodes, brings this dynasty to an end. And when Tom leaves and goes to Tampa. And like I said, it's about football, which is one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest sport there is. And I hope everybody tunes in and finds something that they love.
Again, he's Matthew Hamachek. The Dynasty New England Patriots continues on Apple TV+. Matthew, greatly appreciate your time. Congratulations with all your success, too.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.